Yeah, I picked this one because there's just a whole story going on here, and it really goes full circle. And I do like the player as well, although he kind of sucked when he played for my team. But anyways, I'll get into it here. It's Michael Grabner. The story here that makes this so interesting to me is how fleeced Florida got here, or how big of a mistake they made. And that they traded Keith Ballard, coming off a career year, and Victor Oreskevich, young at the time but only had 6 points in 50 games that year, for Grabner, Steve Bernier, and a first rounder in that year. So a lot of value there. So for Vancouver, Ballard played 148 games of hockey, and before moving on 3 years later, so not much there. Oreskevich played 17 games for Vancouver, getting 3 assists and retiring 2 years later. So didn't work out for Vancouver at all. Florida must have won this one, right? The first round pick was Quentin Howden, who played 89 games for Florida and 8 for Winnipeg before taking his career to Europe. So that first round pick didn't work out. Steve Bernier played 1 season for Florida before moving to New Jersey, and in a team effort with Scuderi and Jeff Carter, ruined my chances of win a season where the Devils win the Cup in 2012. Thanks, Steve Bernier. You're my least favorite player. But the worst part of it is Grabner. Florida put him on waivers just 4 months later, where he'd be claimed by the New York Islanders. The future NHL fastest skater in 2011 went on to lead rookie scorers with 34 goals and added 18 helpers for 52 points that year. Good enough for a Calder finalist.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty huge. He had 2 more productive years in the island before, things started to tail off. And to make this story go full circle, he was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a huge package of a lot of nothing, that included Connor Verhaeghe. So that got the ball moving on Connor Verhaeghe, who played in Bridgeport for a bit and then Syracuse and then got to Florida finally. So Florida would like to think of this as trading Keith Ballard and no one for Verhaeghe 6 years from now.
Wow.
So I like how that went full circle. No one really came out on top here except for the Islanders. In the end, Grabner, 640 games played, 175 goals, 101 assists. One of the best penalty killers, kind of in that era. He had the most shorthanded goals in that era, that's for sure. I think he had 7 1 year. So the guy, monster speed, good player, Austrian guy. I love the story here, and this was a great waiver pickup by the Islanders, especially after Florida just acquired him. It's unbelievable to me.
What a crazy story. That's why I wanted to do an episode like this, because there are just some random stories that you forgot about or just never really connected the dots to. So thank you, Case, for that.
Yeah, good digging on this.
Remembering Grabner, the first thing you think of is his incredible speed, right? But Case, I'm glad you mentioned his penalty killing ability too, because I remember when he was playing for the Leafs, I used to think, okay, this guy gets 7 breakaways a game, 4 of them are shorthanded. This guy should have 55 goals every single year. And of course, he didn't have quite the finishing ability as some other guys who might get that many opportunities, but what a hell of a player, man. And I also didn't know that Verhaeghe was the guy, or one of the guys, included in that package. So that's just extra insult to injury for me. Thanks for that one.
No problem. I wanted to get a dig at Toronto always, right? But yeah, it was Verhaeghe, Taylor Beck, defenseman Tom Nilsson, Matthew Finn, and goaltender Christopher Gibson. So a big package there. I don't really know any of the names except Carter Verhaeghe and Tom Nilsson.
Yeah. I think Chris Gibson is still kicking around somewhere, isn't he? In the minors, maybe? But
yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I know that he had a PTO with Arizona, but they ultimately didn't sign him, and of course claimed Connor Ingram off of waivers from Nashville, and John Gillies, who they signed in the summer, is playing with Tucson in the AHL. So yeah, he's kicking around somewhere. Actually, you know what? He might be in the Seattle organization. You'd have to check that. But anyway, before we move on, the only thing I'll say about Grabner, yes, first things that come to mind, you guys already mentioned them, the speed, and his great ability on the penalty kill, but the guy is ripped. Like, absolutely ripped, man. He is just, like, it's crazy the shape that he's in. He looks like he could still play, and I'll see, like, the odd Instagram video or whatever of him, like, just playing with his kids in the backyard, and you know, like, I'll see the odd one here and there. He's pretty active on social media, I think, and man, the guy's in incredible shape too, and you know, he's got sleeves and of tattoos and everything, and the guy just looks like a warrior, and he was a great player. So
sounds like Harp has a little bit of a crush.
One, man.
Yeah, no, I got into this one. I was following the rabbit hole. Gibson's playing for Coachella right now.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So Harp was right.